Right, hi guys, we're just doing a bit of a vlog for the site based on the Drennan Rive Cup we've all just been on. I've got partners in crime, Callum Dix.
Hello.
Matt Godfrey.
Yo.
And we've been for a 5-day adventure to Heaven.
Heaven!
The absolute, probably the best place I've ever been to fishing, I would say, definitely. It's a massive lake in Ploermel in western France. The fishing was incredible. The lake's probably, what, 10 miles around? Yeah, 10 miles all the way around at least. Massive, massive lake. Most of it you could probably wade out 20 metres easy because it's so shallow. We didn't even find any depth, did we, really, at all? But even though it was shallow, some days it was ridiculously shallow, but we've probably had a bite every chuck for 4 days.
4.5 days.
4.5 days, yeah.
Every single chuck.
We arrived on the Wednesday night and we had a bit of a practice. Not practice, proper casual, weren't it? Sort of like
little mess about.
Little mess about, yeah, not competitive or anything like that. I won. And then we had a sort of an official, not an official training day, which is weird. I always think when you go abroad that they have a training day because it's just pleasure fishing, really, isn't it? Like we have 2 days where everybody starts at different times. Only certain pegs get fed, and it's not really that.
It's nice though, because Sandra Scotland brings you a sandwich halfway through.
Especially when it's a bacon.
Yeah, brings you a bacon sarnie halfway through. And you get to go and have a look and snoop at all Alan's gear and that, and then just
put a few shots on
drain him of information and then bugger off back to your pegs. Like, so, but it's really interesting, and we did it quite different because there was 3 of us and we're all keen to do well. We split up, didn't we? You did a bit of feeder fishing first day, I did waggler, and you did pole, and we just stuck on them trying to figure stuff out, and we changed it around for the next day. I felt we learned quite a lot in practice, you know.
And it was an individual event, but we've still like sort of fished together as a bit of a team, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. We've had a very team mentality the whole way through because we basically agreed to share the money and try and get the best result possible, because you know what it's like, you can't always draw a flyer, so you know, obviously, well, all right, maybe sometimes I'm on a good peg, but like, you know, you need to try and make the most of the situation. So that's basically what we did. Then so first day we had an interesting set of draws. You're on a bank that hadn't been fished, which makes a huge difference on these massive lakes. If they've been fished, the fish tend to come in, and that was really evident second day as the whole complex fished a lot better because bait had gone in on the pole, and it meant that all the fish were sucked in. But we were fishing. I drew K1 first day, MPEG, but it was standard. It was in a bit of a bay. The trouble is you had to walk to these pegs and nobody had fished there, and then there was 4 pegs that had been fished and a lot of bream were there. I fished a waggler, had a really nice match, could have been a little bit more positive, I felt, and I fished, I mean, with the way we were feeding that waggler, we were trying to feed it 2 different ways, weren't we? Callum sussed that if you put a lot of bait in, you could attract a lot of bigger skimmers into your peg, but there wasn't skimmers everywhere. And we sort of figured out that if you fed more regularly but smaller balls, you could keep fishing your peg, like smaller, like hybrids and roach and things like that. But the fishing was incredible. Bearing in mind, I didn't have a good day. I had 8 kilos and came second in my section. So 8 kilos on a waggler is absolutely fantastic fishing.
Amazing.
You 2 boys did brilliant. Tell us a little bit about your day.
Well, like you said, I had a bit of a mysterious peg because it's never been fished before.
Yeah.
And the wind were terrible. Obviously, it's not being fished, so all the fish were quite far out.
The thing is, the wind was strong. It wasn't like a horrendous wind because the lake's massive. It's
really shallow.
You get a load of tow. Yeah.
So I was fishing a waggler and I fished it for sort of 2 hours and caught an odd fish, but it was pulling through really, really bad. And I caught a skimmer and I thought, I just wonder if I can put a bait still on the bottom if I'll catch a few more. And last 2 hours, I've just stuck to fishing a little feeder. Packed with joker and chop worms with a big bunch of bloodworm on the hook, and caught maybe 15 skimmers, and we were enough to win the section. I only had 8 kilos something, but it was good.
And because it's on section points, it makes it a brilliant event because obviously Matt's never going to have a chance of catching a big weight from a bit that was hard, but a section win was obviously great. So we had a 1 and a 2. that left this man. Tell us a little bit about your day.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one really, because my peg was practiced I think 2 days before, and the guy that actually practiced, Johan, caught apparently caught 90 fish in an hour, fishing 13 metres with bloodworm. So really, when I went to my peg, I was looking to fish the pole, and I plumbed up, and it was like 5 foot deep.
Probably the deepest peg you've been on all week.
Yeah, which is probably double the depth of every other peg I fished. So I automatically thought it was just going to be solid on the pole. So that sort of changed the way I fed my waggler. I fed my waggler really positive because I thought I was going to catch on the pole. Went in on the pole, started the match, I had 1 bite. But in the long run, when I look back at the match, because I fished real positive at the start, it probably worked better for me because I ended up catching quite a few big skimmers. So,
yeah,
it was a nice matchup. I practiced on the Friday, catching some bigger fish on the waggler. I fished exactly the same, and it went perfect to plan.
And you won your section, didn't you?
I won
so
the section,
we went into the second day with 2 wins in a second, which was a great set of results. And then the second day was just unbelievable. I drew an I section. It was absolutely flat, no wind at all really. Bright sunshine, dead shallow. You think, oh, it's going to be rubbish. I had a bite from start to finish. I counted my fish because I thought otherwise I'll get bored. 311 fish for 19.5 kilos on a pole, which is just
Shamadables.
40 plus pound of like small fish on a pole. Pommies, little skimmers, odd roach, just incredible fishing. And the thing with this event, it's not float only. So on the first day, I'd been beaten by a guy who fished a feeder. He came last in his section second day, but he sat it out on the feeder both days, and he's beat me with bream. Same things happened second day. A guy's caught 20 kilos, beat me by just 1 kilo of bream. So I ended up with a second. 2 of the best days fishing I can remember in a long time, but 2 seconds, good result. I was happy. Good. That left you 2, which I was hoping 2 wins.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what.
Go on.
I thought I was on for 2 wins. Steve Hemingway's drawn the same peg, the end peg, both days, and I drew in his section yesterday. So I thought, well, he's going to win the section again, you know, same peg, that'll be better.
Yeah.
And he's weighed in, and I thought, oh, that's going to be close. And he weighed 13 kilo something. And there were a guy in between me and him. And I've not seen him catch a fish, and he's weighed 17 kilo, but just like you said, he's caught some big bream. I think he's fished a slider really far out. I never saw him catching it, and I ended up with 14 kilo something. So I beat Steve, but I ended up second in section. But it were enough to finish 5th overall, which were nice. Yeah,
brilliant. So that was a good result. And you?
Bit of a frustrating one really, because I've drew a section the day before wasn't so good. There was 3 kilos on my peg. 11 kilos won the section the day before, all on a feeder at long range. So I didn't really want to do that. That wasn't my match. My match was just to fish a waggler and a pole.
Come like what we fish every chart,
like what we've been doing all week.
Yeah.
I knew it might be a little bit dodgy because the guy next to me apparently is a very, very good feeder angler. And when I was setting up, he only had 2 or 3 rods set up, all feeder rods. So I knew that was going to be a little bit dodgy. And I had Baptiste in my section, which is he's good on a
legend.
feeder.
Yeah, legend Baptiste.
Good angler.
Thank you for everything.
You're the best.
But after an hour and a half, it was all going to plan. It's exactly the same as the day before. Fed it quite positive, caught some decent fish, getting 1 every bung. And then after, but like I said, after 90 minutes, the guy next to me's popped out a feeder, 60 turns, caught a bream 3 pounds straight away. So I knew then I was up against it. And how it all panned out is the kiddie next to me's had 10 bream for probably 13 kilos, and then Baptiste has had 14 bream for 16 kilos. I've ended up having another amazing day's fishing on a waggler again, 12 kilos on a waggler, but not quite enough.
Yeah, so a third, so that gave you 4 points, me 4 points, and you 3 points, which, although we didn't win, Matt was 5th, I was 11th, Callum was 12th, Alan just snuck between us in 10th. So we had really consistent results. We were really, really happy to come as high up as we did. There was 100 plus anglers fishing on a venue we'd never even seen. Had we been a little bit more positive for bream on the feeder, might have been a different story, but bearing in mind it's the first year they've ever seen any of those bream caught, and when we practiced we caught nothing on a feeder. It just shows how things can change and things can go around. What I want to tell you a little bit about is, on the blogs from now on, just keep doing how we're doing, giving you a bit of information like we are, but along with pole fishing, I've agreed to do a monthly, more detailed diary on rigs, setup, approaches, the finer details of what we're talking about.
Of the venue, haven't we?
Yeah, loads of pictures give you a chance to see what's going on, and it's going to be on a new online issue. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
It's going to be on something called Pole Fishing Plus, and I think it's about £2.99. It's an online magazine, and you get a video between 40 and 60 minutes long with every issue. This month we've got Andy Geldart showing you how to approach a commercial peg. There's a couple of pole tests in there, myself and Tom Scully testing poles, so we can tell you and you can see what they're like. We're on the tunnel, listen. Listen. Oh, he's not
He's
working.
not going to do it, is he?
No.
Oh, there he is. We're arriving shortly.
soon.
Yeah.
And then Lee Kerry's diaries at the end, and every month you're going to write us a piece. I'm going to take some pictures of you, and you can keep us bang in touch with what you're doing, can't you?
Bang in touch with what we're doing. It's going to be a really good read. I think it's a really good idea, the online magazine.
And it's available from Friday the 5th of June.
Friday the 5th of June. So for $2.99, all that information, a video, diary pieces, all the extra stuff that you might want out of a magazine. It's really, really worthwhile.
And you can get it from www.polefishingmagazine.com.
You certainly can. Alright guys, we'll catch you later. Cheers, bye. Bye.